What is up, YouTubers, gamers, and fellow hobbyists out there? Welcome to Chill with Pete, a series which is usually just a coffee break. Well, there's still a coffee break, but this is a special Chill with Pete. This is a more in-depth discussion on how I've got to where I am now, kind of over the last 2 years in my life. As you may know from my update video, I've got the job, the dream job I was after. The dream job, I got it. It's mine. And this is really going back to, what led me there, the journey I've taken. So this is this is a kind of a more in-depth update. And I'm aware this is more for my benefit than anyone else's. So I'm not expecting to get many views on this. But I've got to get this out there. I'm putting it out there. And I'm putting it out there on here because it is going to affect my channel and my hobby. There's no doubt about that. So why not? If it's going to affect the way I do things or my ability to do things or enable me to do things, then I'll talk about it. Okay, so actually I'm going to go back further than 2 years. I'm going back after I had to get back to working life after my illness, the diagnosis of MS. And once I got on a treatment plan and I was well enough then, shall we say, to start work again, the only job I could get, and I really tried, was a retail job. But I thought, okay, I can stack shelves for a bit, but perhaps there'll be more opportunities in there to progress to a less physical role. And I did it. That's some coffee. I quickly ascertained that the internal politics, if you will, of the actual store that I worked at were not to my liking, shall we say. For one, they were not disability friendly. I'm just going to adjust this camera a minute. There we go. They were not disability friendly. And they didn't understand my condition or how it affected me or make any sort of allowances for it. So in the end, I thought, do you know what? I'm getting a job where I used to work before, because that was physical. This is physical. I can do that. I decided to try and get a job at Royal Mail, which was delivering the mail. I thought I could do that. I had forgotten, shall we say, because it's been a long time since I did that. I had forgotten just how hard it was of a job. It was more money than retail, and quite rightly so. To cut a long story short, I know this is a more in-depth video, but to cut a long story short, I collapsed. And my body kind of went into a shutdown. Physically, I was unable to do it. And it led quite quickly, within the space of about a week, to me having to admit my limitations, and I had to bite the bullet and say, I cannot do this job. I'm sorry. I thought I could, but I can't. So I had to quit, essentially. Now that had huge ramifications on a big impact on my life, my family's life, and I suffered. Not just physically, I suffered mentally a bit with it as well, because it was a huge knockback. It was one. It took me a very, very long time to get over. And I was desperate for work. I needed to feed my family and help, pay bills and things. At the time, my wife was working in a job which, they were underpaying her vastly. and we were struggling. We were in a bad place. I think it was around about that time I had to use some Patreon money to buy food, to live. And I remember that Christmas in particular because I had a couple of generous offers from people I know. One of which was a YouTuber, and helped me out just to tide me over, and it did. And I was so grateful for the help, and that was our hardest Christmas, but we enjoyed it. It was like the bare basics minimum, but we still had a Christmas. We had a Christmas. We had a Christmas dinner. Party hats. Silly hats. Everything. Watched the movies that come on at that time of year. We had a Christmas. Obviously, we couldn't spend on gifts and things and all that kind of stuff. But it's not about that. And it's never been about that. And it's only when you're in a position of having nothing really that you appreciate that. But yeah, anyway, I was around about just before Christmas. I secured another retail job with a different company. I thought they'd be a bit better, and they were. Still not great. I mean, let's just say we'll go back to Royal Mail. They weren't particularly disability friendly either. Now I went to this other company, another supermarket, another retail, doing a slightly different job. So it wasn't stock replenishing, although I was on quieter periods. I was order picking, which was a bit easier, but it still involved bending down and getting your hands and knees to the bottom shelf on a lot of occasions to get stuff for customers or orders, whatever it may be. And you were like you were on all of it. You had KPIs, so you're on a time limit. Yeah, the first place I worked, you were timed to stack shelves. Can you believe that? You had an app which monitored your every move, basically. Told managers in the office where you were doing, how fast you were doing it. It was too big brother for my liking. Anyway, this other one, I did it for a while, and it got me through Christmas. It got us through Christmas with the help of the extra help I had from people. Like I said, we had a minimalistic Christmas, but we had a happy one. It was good. We were okay. We had our health, we had our home. It was good. Now, I was in that role, and it was a temporary contract. The contract came to an end, and they extended it, which I was grateful for. I think that was around about April time. So after Christmas, I think it was April time. My hours changed, but I was essentially doing the same job. But I wasn't working 5 o'clock in the morning starts and things like that. But I was essentially doing the same job. But it was becoming more and more clear to me that physically I couldn't do that job for the long term, because they were always on your back about speed. You do things like that. Look, I've got this disability. I'm doing the best I can. And they didn't seem to. The trouble is, when you think of a company, the company is only as good as the person you deal with, isn't it? That person at that time represents that company. So, yeah, they didn't seem to have any empathy towards my disability. And that was a bit disappointing as well. But then, I carried on. I did the best I could. I got through it. I held my own, but it was hurting me. I was in agony, absolute agony. And on my days off, and I was only able to work part time. I was only able to work I was offered 24 hours a week, and I was only able to do that. And that hurt so much. My days off were taken up with sleeping and trying to recover. I was lucky if I had a full day of feeling normal before going back to start it over again. And that kind of got to me a little bit. So I wouldn't say I was depressed, but it just made me down a little bit. But then COVID happened. One thing they couldn't deny, and this happened on my birthday actually. I went in on my birthday, and I'd finished the day, and I was up in the office. I was having to do something in the office. I was talking to the manager of the store at the time. I forget her name now, but she's no longer there. They moved managers around. And I just happened to say about the COVID thing, and then another manager said, "Oh, aren't you?" Because they knew I had a disability, MS. Aren't you on the list that shouldn't actually be in? That you should be at home now because you're vulnerable, aren't you? And the store manager said, "Oh, I don't think he is." Yeah, actually, I've got a list here. And she went down the list of different conditions. And said, "Oh, actually, yes, you are. You shouldn't have been in today. As of yesterday, because my birthday's on the 24th of March, as you know." Because I do birthday P&Q. I should have been off on the 23rd. From the 23rd, he said you should be at home isolating. So I said, "Oh, right, okay. Well, I didn't know. What? Because it was all new, wasn't it, at the time?" They said, "Oh no, you need to go home. Just stay home. Wait for us to contact you, and we'll take it from there." And I'll give them their due. They kept in regular contact. They were good. Maybe and I was off for a long time initially. I'd get things through the post. I would get phone calls maybe every other week. Just saying, how you doing? And updating me on what was happening with legalities of work and me coming in and all this kind of thing. And I thought, this seems like it's going to go on for a while. And I thought, I'm going to make use of this time. Because they were paying me, they had to pay you. So I thought, I'm going to make use of my time. I'm going to get my qualifications back up, topped up, to a respectable level. I'm going to do some courses so that I can make my CV a little bit better. In case perhaps I could get a better job where I don't have to be so physical. And at the time, working from home was just a pipe dream, right? It was something I thought, well, that's something other people do. I won't never be able to do that. I did these courses, and I did so many courses. I did the fundamentals of digital marketing. Sorry, I did that one because I wanted to be able to market my wife's books. That's another video, but I did that. But that's useful for marketing yourself as well. You don't have to market a book or a product. You can market yourself or your services. Marketing is marketing at the end of the day, and there will be people out there that will agree or disagree, and you're free to agree or disagree. That's fine. But that's my view. Marketing is marketing. Techniques apply to anything. Anyway, so I did that. I did the marketing qualifications. Then I thought, okay, right, let's get serious now. Let's do an Excel course. So I did an Excel course, basics of Excel. And it's been a long time since I did Excel. Before that, maybe 20 years. No, 15. No, how long? No, about about 10 years. We'll say 10 years. And that was Excel in its basic format. And it was vastly different now. I thought, wow, it could do so much more stuff. So I did the basic course. And I started doing a little bit of the intermediate course. So I did the intermediate course. And I did, a Word course, Microsoft Office, and I did PowerPoint. I did a course, what was it called? The Basics of Administration, how to be a good administrator. What else have I done? Anyway, to cut a long story short, and I know what courses I've done, I've got the proof of it, I've got the verifications, certificates. My CV started looking good, looking very good. Anyway, I put my CV on different places, there's so many different platforms you can pop your CV on, and what you've done and what your qualifications are. I think with my degree and my other qualifications as well, my CV was starting to look really good, starting to stand out a bit. Anyway, out of the blue, whilst I'd gone back to work at this point. I'd done the courses and I'd had the time and all. Then I went back to work, thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this? I got this telephone call out of the blue from an employment agency called Adecco. And this nice lady was talking to me. So I've just come across your CV. And we're looking for people to form part of a team for the G7 site meeting, working for the Devon and Cornwall and Somerset Police. Would this be something that would be of interest to you? It's only a 3-month contract, but would this be something of interest to you? And I thought, wow. She said it's primarily. I have to warn you, it's primarily working at home, but there will be occasions to go, to the headquarters and on site and so on. Anyway, I thought, this is a gift from the gods. This is a gift. This would give me experience, but it's only temporary. And I thought, oh, such a huge risk. At that time, my wife had just been. She was already working for the company I'm now working for, or will be working for. Got her first promotion, working in the role that I will be doing in April. The money was good enough to support us. She said, "Well, look, I told her about it, and she said, that sounds great." I said, my gut tells me I should take a chance. And it was a big chance because I know I took a chance at Royal Mail and I failed. And I paid the price for that, we all did. But what do you think? She said, well, look, the job I'm in now, I could probably support us and a basic lifestyle for a little while here, if it didn't work out or, you couldn't get a job after. She agreed. I think it's worth the chance to take that chance. Go for it. Because you've just done your Excel courses. Do it. Because the role was, they wanted intermediate to advanced Excel skills. I thought, well, I'm not advanced. But I thought, intermediate, maybe. So she set me up with an interview that I had to take with the police. And I had this Teams meeting interview with this police officer, superintendent, whatever. I won't say his name, but yeah, he was a good guy. Explained the role. He said, look, I did the interview and he said, look, it's got to be, you have to be security vetted because you'll be working for the G7. You're going to be working with official, sensitive, up to secret, top secret information. The world leaders are going to be converging on our country, down where we live. I'm like, oh my goodness, it was a bit of a whirlwind. I said, the role sounds great. I'd love to do it. So we went through, so he interviewed me, went through all the usual interview questions that you get. He said, we are looking for at least intermediate Excel skills. If you just have a basic knowledge of Excel, you're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to have time to hold your hand and train you in anything. You've got to be able to do it. What you say at this interview you can do, you need to be able to do, or we have to get someone else in. And I was like, okay. No pressure then. I said, no, I want this. I can do it. I think I can do this. I did the interview, and then I got an email, I don't know, a few days after. It didn't take long. It all went quite quick because they were needing to put this team together. And it came back that I am the preferred candidate. In the police, when you're kind of leading the interview stakes of candidates, they call you the preferred candidate if you're in the lead. I like that. I like that terminology. You are preferred candidates and blah blah blah. And then a few days later, it's like we're delighted to offer you this role. We need your answer pretty much ASAP. And when can you start? So I was like, oh wow. So I was over the moon. Excuse my French, but I was shitting my pants because I wasn't sure if I was up to the task. But I was over the moon. I was excited. I thought this is a real chance here for me to get out of physical hard labour that's going to kill me. I don't think I could have done it for another 12 months. That would have finished me right off. And then I'd be fit for nothing. Here's a chance to use my brain, and I can put it to good use, and So I accepted, put my notice in to where I worked at the time. You know where I was working, you've seen the videos. I think I had like a day or two in between finishing my old job and starting my new job. Drove up to Exeter, which is where the headquarters for the Devon and Cornwall Police is in Exeter. It's called a place called Middlemore. It's a huge place. Great sort of like site. It's amazing. They do all sorts up there, dog training, gun training. It's got it all there. And I met all these people, never met before in my life. And one of my bosses is actually another YouTuber on here. I'm subscribed to him now. I won't say his name because I don't really know if it's right to. But if you're watching. So I met all these people I'd never met before. I made a couple of good friends whilst I was there. And they were talking about this stuff with XR and, what's going to be happening. I can't talk too much about that because it was for the G7. But essentially what we were doing, the stuff I can tell you about, going to be working on 2.5 years worth of spreadsheets, I believe it was, across the forces. Putting them all together, extrapolating the information to work with a certain application. Anyway, that's by the by. After the first day, I came away. I remember texting my wife thinking, "This is like I don't know if I can do this. I don't know." I'm holding my own. The terminology and the things they were talking about and stuff, and I was like, well, just about, hold on. My wife was all anxious. She went, oh no, is he not going to be able to do it? I came back and said, look, can you carry on? Are you going to carry on? I said, no, I want to stick this out. I want to do it. I can do this. I came back with a laptop and a screen, and I was set up at home in a very rudimentary manner. But once I got going with it, I think I didn't bring the equipment back to the second day because I had to go back the next day. I went back up the next day. I came back with the equipment. Once I got going, I was like, do you know what? I can do this. I can do this. Yes, I can. And it became more familiar to me. And over the however long I was doing it, for it wasn't very long, I made a couple of really good friends. And I really enjoyed myself. And it was over the summer of where the G7 was happening, you know, when that happened. Some really nice sunny days. I had, in my old roof, I had a family of birds nesting in the roof. It was like quite hilarious, really. They were noisy buggers. Sadly, the sad thing about that time was one of my dogs passed away. She, good old age, about 16. But she passed away. Still, her brother, you know, same litter, two dogs, same litter. He's still with us. He's still with it. But yeah, so that happened. Then that job came to an end, and I was actually gutted when that ended because I enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed it. What I enjoyed about that job was, and like I said, I can't talk too much about it, but what I can tell you is it was like no 2 days were the same, no 2 tasks were the same. You were doing something, you'd be working on something 1 minute and then pulled away from that project to do something else completely different. I was pulled away and put onto a different team for a while towards the end, on a different team, which was really cool. I don't even know if I can tell you what it was called, so I won't. But it was really cool. Working with software that dealt with all the logistics and operations that go on at the police, and it was like I felt for the first time in years. I felt like I was, I don't know, making a difference. Does that sound silly? I felt like I was important again. I mean, as a key worker, I was important, and that's underrated by so many people, but it was never made to feel important. Nothing about them made you feel that you were doing an important job, even though you were doing a vital role, you know, feeding everyone, essentially. But working with the police, it made me feel important. I felt valued. And they were very diverse and very disability friendly. Well, they are, I should say. And always checking up on your, you know, well-being and, you know, constantly making sure you're okay. And that was great. So I finished my role with the G7. Sadly, I would have loved it to have gone on, but you know, the G7 can't go on. But then I got another role within the police through a deck of the same employment agency. Again, it was a temporary contract, but it was a it was a 12-month contract, but I think 2 months had already gone through. So I had about 10 months at least of this contract, or 11 months. Working with data, which is what I've been doing now up to this point. And it was a little bit more money. I mean, the role with the police was more money than I was on at retail. But this was a little bit more money again. And I started to turn my life around in terms of financially. Starting to become secure, and that was really nice. To the point of now being able to get some home improvements done. You know, I've had a new roof done, for goodness sakes. I'm looking to get other things done. I want a new bathroom, I want a new garden wall, I want a new garden gate. I want another wall in the garden, like a retaining wall, which I'm thinking of getting a patio put in there, and maybe a porch put over the front. You know, getting the house really nice, decorated and done up, and I want it spanking. So really, really exciting times. And whilst I was doing the role I'm at currently, I was desperately trying to. I went for jobs because my wife, where she works, where I'm now going to be working, such a great working culture, an environment, the whole ethos of the place. I thought, and working with defence, that's never going to go away. That's never going to run out of work either. So it's secure. They don't do temporary contracts. It's permanent. If you're in, you're in. And I like that. I understand that temporary contracts work for people. Companies want to try you out. It's a little bit naughty, I think, to keep extending it and just changing your role slightly or changing the terminology of what you do so that they can give you another temporary role. And I'm not saying there's nothing nothing wrong or illegal going on there, but it's a little bit naughty, I think, in my eyes. Plus, you get used to being paid weekly, which you do, when you're a temporary worker. You're paid weekly every week. But I'm at the position where I've been able to put back money and save, and my life is really changing around now. It's really changing. It's only just started. The exciting times have only just started, as far as I can see. The future looks really, really rosy. But this role I'm in currently, about to end, gave me some more transferable skills, you see. Having been a proofreader in the past as well, that helped. Because that's something you've got to... Proofreading is often misunderstood by a lot of people. Some people just think proofreading is just reading through a document or something, looking for mistakes. Well, yeah, it is. But you've got to be able to do that quickly. You've got to be able to scan it and go, there's a typing error there, or there's a continuity error there. That the tense of that sentence is all wrong. The syntax is wrong here. You can look at things like spacing. Is one of the first things you look at, and that's helped me, because that's a skill it takes a while to acquire. It's not something you could just learn overnight. It takes a while to acquire proofreading skills, in my book, for the suitability of an employer. Anyway, time have we got here now? We're at 33 minutes. Goodness me. I told you this was a more in-depth one. But that's... so where are we up to? So, started applying for positions in the company my wife works for now, and I currently do. Or I currently will do. And I went for a position. It wasn't great. It was about, money-wise, it was about on par with what I was doing. So I wasn't gaining anything, but I wasn't losing anything. And I thought, it's a foot in the door. It can get me in there. And that interview, all the interviews prior to that, you have to do an assessment for. So say that for. So before you go into the interview, you should have at least proved that you're not a complete numpty. You got basic maths, English, that kind of thing, sensibility things, psycho-evaluation, and all that sort. Anyway, but the interview itself was a bit of a train wreck, if I'm honest. I was totally unprepared. Well, I thought I was prepared, but I was prepared in completely the wrong way. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't have given me the job either. So I was quickly told, no, you didn't get that. You was unsuccessful. Okay, fair enough. Applied for another role in there, which is similar to the one I have now procured, but different department. Oh, how many interviews was that? I don't know. a few. I want a video into. Sorry, I'm making this in the mic for you. I do that, don't I? That's a drinking game. I passed all the assessments with flying colours. Did the video interviews with flying colours. You're on. I was told, top marks for this. You got one more interview to go. Be a panel of 3 people, I think it was. Yeah. And so I thought, right, you're a diverse company. I'm like, okay. I will reveal at this stage my disability and the drawbacks it can have on me, and hopefully they'll accommodate me with the interviews, because they'll say, do you have any disabilities? Is there anything we can help you with to make it easier? For instance, if you was wheelchair bound, say, for example, and, one day I may well be, and you were going for an interview, they would accommodate you by making sure there were ramps in place, or you were on a ground floor office to do your interview or something. You wouldn't expect you to go upstairs in a wheelchair, would they? They would accommodate, they would make suitable adjustments. Or if you were hearing impaired, they would have something in place for that. Now, with my condition, my neurological condition I have, MS, multiple sclerosis, which is Latin for many scars, if you don't know. Multiple sclerosis is scarring of the brain and spinal column. Now, this is occurring because your immune system, your white blood cells, are attacking the coating of your nerves. And that coating is called the myelin sheath. It attacks it so that a neurological current that travels through, like say you touch something, that sends a current across your nerves up to your brain through your spinal column. But because your immune system is attacking these things, the current doesn't travel well through the circuit. It's broken. Sometimes it arcs and does weird things. It causes weird things to happen in your body. You could go blind, you could go deaf, you could stop being able to walk, you could stop being able to have any coordination whatsoever. It stops you swallowing properly. You start getting pains in your extremities. You get cognitive fogging where you can't think. You space out a little bit like mini epileptic fits. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I said I've got this condition, explained a little bit about it. I thought, well, a company that size, they should probably know a little bit about it as like a health and safety thing. I said it would help me if I could use my notes. I've made notes, obviously, to prepare for this. I had tons of notes to prepare for this interview, because if you ask me a question and I know the answer, it's on my notes. I just need to go to quickly look at my notes and go, yeah, right, okay. Give us an example of a time when you had a problem in your team and you overcame it. For example, that's just throwing a question off the top of my head. I go, yes, problems team, there it is. I said, can I use my notes just for that? And they said, yes, that's absolutely fine. Of course you can. And they used this expression, fill your boots, no problem. And they were all in agreement, nodding vigorously, yes, of course. I thought, great. I had the best interview of my life. I nailed every question because I had my notes there. I was able to do it. I thought, wow. I felt good. I thought, I'm in. No, I wasn't. Some weeks later, I had an email say, no, I had a call from their HR department. I'm sorry to say you were unsuccessful. The feedback that you've been given is you relied on your notes too much. And I was like, what? I asked if that was okay because I explained my condition. They said That was okay. Fill your boots. My argument was, well, one, I could do that job standing on my head. Two, in any job like that, you have notes. You can't be expected to remember every single thing. You refer to notes. When something comes up, some task which involves something you haven't done for a while, you go, yeah, where's my notes again? You look through your notes, or sometimes you have like a manual or something to go through. I have one now. Things like creating an unborn child or a person on the system. How to do that. I need to know how to do that. I can't remember it all. I go to my notes. I say, in any job, you need to use your notes. But no, apparently no. So I was gutted. I was floored. I was like, oh man, this is unreal. And do you know what? For a time, I thought, stuff it. Stuff your job, stuff your company. I don't want to know. But I got over myself. I thought, I picked myself up again. I thought, no. Because it wasn't just one interview and fail. That was many interviews and tests and then fail. And it drained me. I felt drained. But the role I'm in now, or I'm going to be starting now, cropped up just after Christmas last. I saw it. My wife saw it. Said, that's my old job. She found her old boss. So, yeah, that is confirmed. Yes, that is her old job. She was like, And she looked at me like, you've got to go for it. You've got to go for it. You've got to apply for it. I was like, I wanted to apply for it. I'd say 80% of me wanted to apply for it for me. 20% of it, I was applying because my wife said I should. Because I was still a little bit bitter over the last thing that happened with the notes. So I'm really sorry this is going on. But like I say, it's therapy. It's therapeutic for me. I've got to get this out of my system. She said, look, do you mind if my husband applies? Well, I know anybody can apply for it. But if he applies, would you at least just look at his CV? Would you? I'm not asking you for any favours. She said, don't worry about that. It's very strict here with that kind of thing because there's certain procedures they have to do in a scoring system which was designed to eliminate nepotism. So if anything, if you know someone or you're related to someone, it's harder for you to get. She said, yes, I would do that. But I'd applied. I applied. And it turns out that HR had sifted my CV for her anyway. So she didn't need to request my CV. So that was good. My CV stood out enough that it was sifted automatically anyway. And then when they obviously liked my CV, I thought, this guy sounds like a good fit actually. I know he's related to the last employee we had, but it sounds like he could be a good fit for this role. So I went for all the rigmarole again, all the usual stuff, all the usual suspects, till eventually the final interview, which went well. It did go well. Didn't feel as well, because this time around I thought, I'm not going to look at my notes. I'm not going to do it. It went against me last time. So I tried to do it all from memory, and how I did it was because where I do our computer, there's 2 screens there like that. Put a load of post-it notes all around the edges of the screen with the camera right in the middle center. A little tip for you: your bullet notes of your research, just to get you like one sentence so you can remember things, or dates and things like that. How long has said company been in operation? Do you know? And I got it there. When they ask you, and the camera's directly on you, you can look to the left or to the right, up and down, as if you're trying to remember something. It makes it look good. There's a little tip for you guys. Teams interviews. And it looks like you're trying to recall information from memory. So that's what I did. So I didn't feel it flowed as quickly as well as the last interview, but I still felt good. And I bloody well got it. I got it. And they were really impressed with my interview, apparently. Because some of the experiences I've had with the police alone, you can't get anywhere else. You just can't get there. And I understand that it stood me in really good stead for this job. And I am so grateful to the universe and to Adecco for getting, finding my CV and getting me where I am now, and all the little things that have led to me to be where I am today. And yes, and I've got my dream job, and I start 25th of April, and I can't wait to get going on that. I'm going to be able to start sleeping better, because I won't have these negative, horrible thoughts sort of lingering in my mind. I'll be able to get all that out of my head, and I can start thinking about good things again. And I'm super looking for regular hours. Oh, no more nights. Every weekend. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. And for the channel, it's going to be awesome. Because I can plan. I can start planning again. Perhaps I can start picking my channel up again. And, working for a bit more professionalism. And we'll see where that takes me. I'll have another sip of coffee. I don't think I'm even going to edit. I'm not even going to edit this because I want it raw to the core, as Jam Jar 34 would say. Raw to the core. If there's anybody still watching this, oh, bloody well done, mate. Well done, you. Thank you. You really are invested in, what I have to say. And I appreciate that. And I'm going to make it worth your whiles, all of you. I'm going to put some better content out there, some good content. I have to keep my On the Bench and Paint Along series all going because they are what keep me sane. And they give me the energy to... Oh, that's another thing. Now we're all working together, same company, we'll be able to get our holidays off more easily at the same time. Yeah, boy. Well, I've definitely gone on long enough. This is nearly like an On the Bench in itself. So, thanks ever so much for watching this chill. I'm going to chill right out. That's like, wow. But thanks. That's been brilliant. Thank you so, so much. And I'm going to see you on another video, hopefully. This is the only good video of this nature where I've gone on about my own past like that for some time. And yeah, I'm not even going to say give it a thumbs up if you like it, because I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting anyone to watch it, let alone give it a thumbs up. But if you do, great. I will see you on another video. Back to reality, and yeah, thank you. Don't forget, all brushes lead to all. See you on another video, and bye for now. Bye bye.